Okay, so today I'm talking to you about governments and economies that we see around the world. The first of which is a government called democracy. It is any form of government in which all political power is exercised by all citizens, either directly or through representatives. We have two types of democracy. The first of which is a direct democracy. It's where citizens vote on everything. They vote on things from whether or not to put a street sign at a crosswalk, or whether they need a new mayor. An example of this would be ancient Greece. A representative democracy, on the other hand, is where citizens elect representatives who vote on laws for the citizens. Citizens have regular elections for the representatives. So an example of this would be when we have elections for people to sit on the House of Representatives or the Senate. We voice our concerns to them. They take those concerns and then create laws based on those. Okay? Okay, so next we have an autocracy. An autocracy is a government in which political power is controlled through one singular individual, such as a monarch or a dictator. A monarch is a king or a queen, and they usually gain power through their relatives, either directly through their parents, or maybe they had an uncle that was king that didn't have any children, so they take over the throne for him. Two modern day examples of this are Spain and Japan. We also have a dictatorship that also classifies as an autocracy. A dictatorship is where power is acquired by force. Citizens are not allowed to voice negative opinions, and the dictators have complete control. An example of this is North Korea. That's a current day example. Some examples throughout history would be Hitler to Germany in World War II. You could see Stalin in Russia in World War II. You could see Mussolini in Italy, also in World War II. So that's an example of dictatorship. Now, dictatorship and monarch both fall under the category of autocracy. Okay, next we have an oligarchy. Let me move it over so you can see a little bit. Oligarchy. Oligarchy means rule by few. It often comes from or leads to other forms of government. Power can be based on military strength, family power, or religious control. Now, you will see an oligarchy throughout history in terms of the Russian Revolution. You will have a small group of people making decisions for an entire country. It can be like 3 or 4, it can be like 10 or 12, but it's a small group of people who are making sole decisions with no input from anyone else, just that group of people. Okay? Okay, last but not least is, move it over so you can see it. Last but not least is theocracy. Theocracy is rule by God. Okay, now I say rule by God to mean it can be any God they so choose. Not just a Christian God or the Jewish God or the Muslim God, but any God. And that's where they're going to use religious laws to govern its citizens. A current modern day example of that is the Islamic Republic of Iran. They run completely based on what the Quran says. Okay, we have anarchy. It's where there's no government. Now you may think that sounds really good, that there's no one to tell you what to do, but that means there's no one to keep you safe. There's no one that makes sure that there are laws that prevent bad things from happening. So there's no government to enforce or make laws. Now the last three are types of economies that I want to look at. The first of which is capitalism. Communism is down here at the bottom. Capitalism is an economic system based on private ownership and the investment of money in business ventures in order to make a profit. Now what that means is I take money, I invest it in a company, I create a company, any money that company makes goes back in my pocket. I am completely free to do whatever I want legally to make money. There's no government entity really stopping me. If I wanted to go tomorrow and open up a cupcake shop in downtown Charlotte, I can do that as long as I have the money. Okay? Socialism is an economic system in which the factors of production are owned by the public and operate for the welfare of all. So socialism would be like the government creating a cupcake shop in downtown Charlotte. And those cupcakes are available for everyone, and everybody shares in the profits. Meaning, the government takes that money and would invest it back out. So everybody has the same amount, and everything's run by the government. Okay? Communism is an economic system in which all means of production are owned by the people, no private property, and everything is shared. Okay, now socialism and communism sound similar, okay, but they're not. They're not the same. Socialism leads to communism. Okay, socialism, it's owned. Everyone gets the same, and as communism, it's more government. This is much more heavily government run. So while they sound the same, they are different. This is like the precursor to communism. Okay? If you have any questions, and I'm sure you do about these two, we'll try and clarify it to Monday when we talk about these three. We are doing governments Thursday and Friday, and then on Monday we'll be doing capitalism, socialism, and communism. So if you have any questions, write them down. You can ask me tomorrow, or you can email me, and let me know what you think. Thanks.